Welcome back inside the CKDJ studios right here for, I guess this is episode 2.5 of Wrestling with Old School Ideas, because I had tweeted out a couple days ago that I was going to be reviewing Starrcade 97 as episode 3. So, anyways, I am, as always, the music man, Colin Scully. And I've got not one, but two special guests in the ring that is also this radio studio. Is it obvious that I'm tired, Marco?
It is.
All right. If you guys don't know who Marco is, then go back and listen to the show. He did a very entertaining review of Joey Janela's Spring Break 2 along with Gibby. For those of you who haven't listened, Marco, what were your thoughts on Joey Janela's Spring Break 2?
I didn't like it at all. I thought it was terrible. That's my summation. If you want to go back and see my thoughts on it, I haven't changed one bit. I thought it was a terrible show. Yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it, because otherwise I'll get steaming mad talking about it again.
All right, and of course, what would be Wrestling with Ideas at this point in time without the man with no excuses, Jonathan Skuce?
Well, I'll tell you something right now. I don't like this sorry son of a bitch standing across the table from me. Nah, I'm just kidding. He's all right. Hey guys, man with no excuses on this old school review.
Yeah. So, Marco, this is 3 weeks in the making here after we finally got this. We finally got this set up today.
I know. I can finally get to ask you on air, why do they call you the Music Man? Are you some sort of like savant of like all things music? Are you like a walking jukebox? Is this...
See, I had come up with this on episode, like, I think episode 97 is when I had first started it, and I had said, oh, what the fuck? Like, because Colin is like C's the first letter.
Yes.
The first initial of my middle name is D.
Okay.
CD, music.
Haha, clever.
We had also given him his Dudley Boy's name, that shortened down to CD Dudley. I can't remember what the C and the D stood for right now.
Right.
I can't remember either.
But he had his Dudley Boy's persona. We made him one.
What did we give you?
I was STD Dudley, or STD for short, for Sexual Tyrannosaur Dudley.
I like it.
What would Marco's be?
Marco Rossi?
Yeah.
Well, do you want to keep the MR, or do you want to get risque? That's all you need.
Yeah, because Mr. Dudley wouldn't... I don't know.
You could be Dudley.
The third. No, I don't know. What would that be? Because there was already a Dances with Dudley. There was a... I don't know. All I know is I just hope I don't get put through a table by the end of this.
Yeah.
No guarantees. The Dudley family.
Yeah, it's very true. So, as I had mentioned before, this is 3 weeks in the making here. I had messaged you 3 weeks ago saying, hey, we should do another review with you. Because you're quite the, you know a lot about the stuff, about the wrestling.
I'm a big fan of the old stuff. That's more or less it. Yeah.
So what pay-per-view did we just watch? Marco?
We,
Invasion 2001, right?
Something like that. Yeah, no, we got agreed upon King of the Ring 1993 because though it was a June pay-per-view, I've always been a believer in bringing the pay-per-view back. I think it's one of my favorite, for sure is one of my favorite pay-per-views. I like the fact that it elevates, 8 people. And the person who's the King of the Ring could either go on, maybe get a world title shot down the road, or they just get some kind of elevation out of it. I think it's a fun. I love tournaments. I think it gets the crowd invested. So, and it showcases 8 of the best talents who already have to go through qualifying matches already.
Well,
so
you say 8 of the best talents. I'm looking at the bracket here, and there's one match that confuses me as to when you say 8 of the best talents. In the third qualifying match for this, we saw Mr. Hughes defeat Kamala. I am intrigued as to why. Are you just saying 8 of the best talents in general, sort of thing? Yeah. Okay, but do you believe that Mr. Hughes was...
Are you implying that Kamala was not over? Because he was over, pal.
I know he was over, but if he was over, then why did they put Mr. Hughes...
New talent and the fact that he was a big menacing dude. I'm not. And
Kamala isn't.
Kamala was kind of nearing the end of his run, and they had turned him babyface, and it just, I guess, probably didn't have that same kind of appeal. Whereas Mr. Hughes was kind of like the new quote unquote kid on the block, and they were trying to elevate him. So putting a big dude like that in the King of the Ring where he was kind of a menacing, kind of imposing, intimidating force wasn't necessarily the worst idea in the world. But we'll probably need to run down the card after, just kind of go in chronological order might be the best thing to do. But I don't know. I'm not going to completely dump all over it, but
No.
But the rest of that card,
The rest of the card was great here. So what I'll do? Well,
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the first match on this card.
really?
The Papa Shango Owen Hart match.
that was a pre-show.
They had pre-shows in 93.
That was a dark.
Yeah, it was a dark match.
That was a dark match.
Yeah, because that wasn't on the pay-per-view. No, I thought you meant like Razor and Brett. Like, what the hell was wrong with that one?
Brett was a great match,
Yeah.
but I was not a fan of the Shango Owen Hart match.
Okay, no, I never seen it, so.
Neither have I.
Hold on, if my sources are correct, for the USWA Unified World Heavyweight.
Yeah, because they had an agreement with Memphis at the time, I guess. But
Right. Now, this King of the Ring 1993 happened June 13th, 1993, Fairborn, Ohio, at the Nutter Center. Drawing about 6,500 people or 80 grand at the gate. This was also shown on live pay-per-view with a massive rating of 1.1.
I don't understand. I thought it was good, and it's not just my nostalgia kicking in. That's why I have nostalgia. I thought it was good.
Yeah,
but
it was good.
I've seen this on video cassette, so I don't know where my 2 cents for that video cassette.
I think I have.
WWE's earnings.
Yeah, I still have it on video cassette somewhere. But I don't know. I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I
enjoyed it. I mean,
yeah.
Considering that most of the pay-per-views that I watch, because you guys, I mean, you probably you weren't my age when this happened.
I was 3 years old.
You were 3 years old when this happened.
2 or 3 years old.
But the pay-per-views that you would watch when you were my age were so much fucking better than the ones that I have to watch now. Like, shit, like, you were my age. You were 17 in 96? No,
96. I was 6.
Shit, right.
17 years old. That would have been 2006 or 7, and that's when actually I stopped watching for a little while.
It was a good stopping point.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
I wasn't a big Spirit Squad guy. But I mean, okay, so let's. Why don't we? I was gonna say. I mean, I'm not the host, so you can stop me at any point. And but I was gonna say, why don't we kind of analyze? I mean, the first match, Razor and Brett, in my opinion, good enough to be the final.
It should have been the final.
Possibly
any match.
I mean, if you would have had Razor on the other side of the brackets, where he wasn't put up against Bret Hart, it should have been the final.
Yeah.
I would like to go on record as saying that any match that has Bret Hart in it, theoretically, is probably good enough to be in the final.
Or that talent, that's for certain.
Yeah, or Mr. Perfect.
Yeah, him too.
I mean, Razor did make it all the way to the finals the following year in '94 when he lost to the Rocket Owen Hart, but in this one,
well, at least he didn't lose to Savio Vega yet.
Stop. All right, so as we mentioned, Bret Hart did defeat Razor Ramon in the first quarterfinal. Other thoughts on this one, or do you want to move on straight?
Good match, good psychology. It was like the perfect. Was it 10:25? I'm reading, and it was great. I mean, they had, what was it? What was it supposed to be? It was like a 10, 15, and a 20.
I think so.
The quarters, the semis, and the finals. But like, I don't know. I thought it did a great job of elevating both guys. It's not like Razor tapped out in the sharpshooter. He got defeated via a crafty pin by the Hitman. Razor got his shit in. He got his stuff in, and he was beating the heck out of Hart for a while. Stomped on the fingers, which kind of became a focal point of focus later on, as we'll get to most likely. And then Hart was trying to figure out how to beat a guy who's stronger and bigger than he was. I think that was pretty much the story as things progressed, is how a guy who gets sort of beat down like Bret Hart, he's not the strongest guy in the world, but he's crafty, he's technical, and how he's going to beat tougher opponents who are either more evenly matched or stronger than him. So I thought it was a great match.
Right, John, anything you want to add? Or?
Well, I walked in halfway through this paper, so I missed this match. But I do have one question, since it's not fresh in my mind. How many toothpicks did Razor Ramon throw at the camera this time?
I think just the one.
Did he have his backup behind his ear?
I think he just had the one.
Right.
All right.
Up next on the card, we had Mr. Perfect defeating Mr. Hughes with Harvey Whippleman
What a guy.
by disqualification.
Harvey Whippleman, what a
No,
guy.
no teasers here. Oh, I'm going to give you a teaser here, but I'm not going to spoil anything. Harvey Whippleman, as it was later revealed to me, did make an appearance later on in this card.
Yeah, he was a hell of a photographer, wasn't he?
Yeah. Something's
He was
wrong.
on fire.
I'd say he's a lit photographer.
Anyways, Mr. Perfect defeating Mr. Hughes. Now, I had questioned the whole Mr. Hughes thing.
Yeah.
Mr. Perfect as well. Like, was this just before, why do maybe I'm getting him confused with somebody else.
This is the Misters match. You put a Mister versus a Mister.
Yeah, that's
what
it.
it was.
Yeah.
And Vince is probably laughing back.
Ha ha! Good God, pal. Two guys and their first name is Mister. Ha ha!
You know what's funny? Little backstory is that Mr. Perfect, in order to get to this King of the Ring, faced Doink the Clown 3 times to get here. Because the first 2 matches ended up in a draw. And that goes to show you also, I mean, and if you go back and watch any of those matches, it goes to show you how good Matt Bourne was. It wasn't just like a comedy character. I mean, Matt Bourne was the evil clown. He was a good wrestler. And those matches were pretty decent until Perfect got the win in the 3rd match, because I guess that they wanted to make it also seem like it was so hard just to get to the King of the Ring. Although Doink the Clown actually wrestling in the King of the Ring instead of Mr. Hughes would have been interesting, having Perfect and Doink. I think that would have been a pretty good quarterfinal.
Could you imagine Doink the Clown and Jerry Lawler at the end of it if Doink had hypothetically won?
Well,
What
you
would
know
have
how
happened there?
Jerry Lawler's on Doink
Yeah.
and Dink and Dank.
Oh, yeah. Survivor Series 94 reference. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, like I said, it was an okay. It was pretty cool, the backstory heading in. Mr. Hughes, it was one of those. Well, he beat Kamala because I think if I remember correctly, Kamala there was that gimmick where he didn't know how to pin people, and
Right.
that probably did it for him. Where I don't know if Hughes had rolled him up to get in, but anyway, this match itself kind of sucked. I mean, you know, for a 6-minute match, it was okay in the sense that Perfect, like Hart, had to face someone who's bigger, who was stronger, and he had to figure out, okay, I'm a technical wrestler. How am I going to beat this guy? Because he was getting outmatched, he was getting outpowered,
Right.
outmuscled. But
Now, the thing is here, it might be worth mentioning what the disqualification was. At this
Yes.
point in time, Mr. Hughes was in a feud with The Undertaker.
Yep.
And Paul Bearer as well.
Yep.
He had a plastic urn that he had brought out, and he used the plastic urn to hit Mr. Perfect in the head.
I don't know if it would. That didn't look plastic.
Or it wasn't, well, I mean,
Looked like it was tin.
okay. It was an urn. I don't know why I was saying
him
plastic.
and Whippleman stole the urn, as they had shown,
Right.
like going back to episode of Superstars where they'd beaten them both down with the urn,
Right.
and then that's why Hughes was like holding it, and then so he clocked Perfect in the head with it and got himself disqualified. So it showed that Mr. Hughes might be big, but he's dumb.
Right.
So
Now, as we were talking, Marco, before this, I am mad. This is a plea to WWE here. Please put the old superstars on the network.
yeah, I don't know why it's not on there. If it's not on there, that was an integral part of getting Angles over. Like,
Especially in 93,
Yeah.
because you just had Raw.
yeah.
Just.
Yeah, well, that's it, because it took over primetime.
Yeah.
And
And I'm pretty sure, does the network have Tuesday Night Titans with
Yes.
Lord Alfred Hayes?
Yes.
Yeah.
They do have Tuesday
Shit.
Night Titans,
And they don't have Superstars.
and they don't have superstars.
but they have Wrestling Challenge.
In
No superstars of wrestling, no superstars. I don't get it. Hopefully
No.
soon, because like I said, that's how they got a lot of angles over.
well,
And
they
if-
still haven't. I haven't finished WCW Thunder yet. They have it like up until 2000,
Mhm.
but they don't have the best part of WCW Thunder, which was 2001.
Was there a best part of Thunder?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was there a best part of WCW? Well, yes. It was when Vince.
Yes.
Jericho was in the company.
Yes, there was. Oh, I will absolutely. I defected during the Attitude Era of WCW, so
Did you?
yeah. I was
Now-
watching both for a while, and then I defected.
Was it the Jericho years?
Or was it
Oh,
the?
yeah.
No, but you're also a fan of the chairman.
La Parka, I love La Parka. I thought he should have had a better run, but that's a whole other topic for another day. I love La Parka. I thought he was a good cruiser.
I've got another nickname for you, I guess. Now there.
What's that?
Well, I think I've already told you. I think I already said it to you.
Tell the
You're-
humanoids.
We can, if you ever come on to the show further, can either introduce you as the Mean Street Rossi, which is the nickname that Gibby gave you,
Yeah,
or we can call you the La Parka Marka.
the La Parka Marka. I like it. I just need to get like a chair and start
Sounds like his finisher.
strumming it. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm agile enough to do a corkscrew body attack, but then again, Parka didn't look agile either, and look at him, right? That's what I loved about him. It made him dangerous because he could wrestle the heavyweights and he can wrestle the cruiserweights.
Right.
He was good like that. But going back to which is the next match here after
Bam.
Perfect got clocked in the head by Mr. Hughes?
Bam Bam Bigelow defeating Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, but how? I mean, going through this, it was just what was it? It was a 5-minute match. Yeah. Typical brawling match. You weren't, as Hacksaw would normally say in his promos, there ain't going to be no takedowns, there ain't going to be no go behinds, and there really weren't too many. There were a few here and there, like what was there, like a bear hug, and Duggan kind of hurt his ribs early on in the match, I think, in a working way, and that kind of was like a focal point of how things were, and it was like two bulls going at it, but Duggan miscalculated a move, hit his head on the turnbuckle, fell over, and Bam Bam capitalized with that devastating flying headbutt of his. So, I mean, there wasn't really any, I don't know, were there any noticeable parts for you?
Not really.
No. Just kind of a typical brawling match.
Yep.
Served its purpose for a 5-minute match. I think it did really well, and Bigelow got over the KG veteran Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and it elevated Bam Bam, so.
Yeah. Now, a lot of these matches, there were only, I think, 2 or 3 matches that were under, 3 matches out of 10 that were under the 10-minute mark. A lot of these matches were fairly long matches.
Well, they knew how to write television at the time.
Well, that's...
that's true.
That's also very true.
Yeah, and they had good workers.
Yep.
Not to say that the guys today are terrible. They're not. A lot of them are great. There tends to be, though, I think, a focus. It seems like you're watching a video game rather than like a total like package of like ring psychology. So I'm not.
The total package. That's a perfect segue into our next match here.
Yeah.
Lex Luger and Tatanka ended a 15-minute time limit draw.
Did you ever notice?
It's a good thing that this isn't going radio, because otherwise we'd be sued for that.
No, that's Tatanka's theme song, man. And
That's
I was
right.
about to say, has anybody ever noticed that Tatanka and the $1 Million Man have the same theme song? It's just altered.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I can see it. Yeah. Yeah. See, Jim Johnson was crafty like that.
He's a sneaky guy.
Yeah, he would do that. I can't think off the top of my head of other songs, but there definitely are where he would kind of change the rhythm a little bit.
But they didn't change the rhythm in this match. Because Tatanka, after, I don't know when his undefeated streak was, but it's not here.
Well, it was still going because I wonder if that's
time limit draw a part of his streak.
Yeah, I don't think it counts as a
He didn't
loss.
take a pin.
No, I don't think it would. If you're undefeated and you get a draw, does that? I don't think that would break
you're
it.
still undefeated.
Yeah, because you haven't
haven't
lost
lost.
because he didn't lose until Borga came in. Ludwig Borga came in later, but I don't know. This match was all right. I mean, it had all the right elements of psychology
It
and
got us where we needed to be.
it got us where we needed to be. Luger was posing too much, and Tatanka had enough and threw the mirror on him. Big note about this beginning of the match. Because there was a story about Lex Luger legitimately having a steel plate in his elbow, which he had used later on to knock people out with a forearm, because of a motorcycle accident years before. What was that big thing that they said? If you don't put this on,
It was an elbow pad.
it was an elbow pad, because they said if you don't put it on, then we're going to disqualify you because you've been knocking too many people out with your forearm, with your elbow. So
Who was it that called it the true value elbow?
It was definitely Bobby Heenan.
Yeah.
But I thought that even that like little story at the start was great. Match was okay. I'm not personally. I've never really been a big Luger guy, although I like the narcissist character. I thought it was probably his best work in my view. Tatanka.
Who did the narcissist thing better? Sorry, just Lex Luger or Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff?
Wow. I'm going to say Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff because he was a better worker overall. Absolutely.
I think Lex was good with the gimmick.
He was good with the gimmick.
But
yeah.
if you had to put them in a ring and had two guys go head to head, it's Mr. Wonderful.
Oh, hands down.
But
yeah.
as far as the gimmick goes, I think it was Luger.
You know what it is, too? I don't think Wonderful was good with the cockiness. He was too intense for it.
Yeah, I could see that. I would agree with that.
Yeah, and I think it helped that he had Heenan as his manager before the turn or whatever, because he went from babyface helping Hogan to heel with Heenan, and Heenan being kind of more of the like I'll get you.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it kind of helped a little bit. So that's probably the general consensus I think between us. We can agree on that.
Agreed.
But yeah, no, it ended in a draw, which meant that a certain competitor,
Bam Bam Bigelow, would get a bye straight to the finals. Now, what was it with the bye for what? Like, do you know the story behind the Bret Hart bye? Either of you? Because I don't.
the Bam Bam bye, you mean?
The Bret Hart bye. Because there were 2 byes in this tournament, and I think that's the only time there have ever been the 2 byes.
There were 2 byes. It's just
there was 2 byes in '96.
Oh, were there? No, I think it was just that Bret Hart didn't wrestle a qualifying match to get here, which I don't understand. Everybody else did, but
it's either he was thrusted in position or he worked his ass off for it, and we'll never know.
yeah, I know that's one of the. I hope that it gets brought. I don't know if it'll get brought up because I think that they addressed the King of the Ring '93 pay-per-view on Bruce Pritchard's podcast. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know if they actually addressed that question. But as far as I think it was good too that they did this with Bam Bam, right? He gets a bye.
And he's a big guy.
I was gonna say he's a big guy. He's agile. He's a menacing guy that they're trying to get over, and elevate. And then you have Bret Hart having to wrestle a semifinal match where it's really not going to get any easier for him. But is that one right after? Or there weren't any matches in between. No, there was.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, he's not going to get any easier for Hart because even though he isn't facing someone as strong and powerful as, say, a Razor or a Hughes, he's facing someone who could match him evenly, and he's going in not 100%.
And that's it. You were saying about how earlier Perfect was technical and crafty as well, and then you have Bret Hart who's technical and crafty. It's kind of like 2 guys who know the same things going head to head, and until they pull something that the other guy doesn't expect.
Yeah.
It's going to be a stalemate.
Yeah, so semifinal match, Bret Hart versus
Mr. Perfect.
Mr. Perfect.
And there was a backstage interview between the both of them, actually.
Yeah.
In which Bret Hart, or Mean Gene, rather, was stirring the pot, so to speak, in terms of having Bret Hart saying things that he wasn't really saying, except he did say them, but he didn't mean it the way that he said.
Yeah, because during the match they had both the Tatanka Luger match and the Perfect Hughes match. They went to each of the guys that advanced, and they're like, who would you rather face? And I know like Bam Bam wanted to get a piece of Tatanka because they were having a feud, and then there was Bret Hart said he'd rather wrestle Mr. Perfect, and then Mean Gene kind of stirred the pot a little bit, was like, oh, are you saying that Perfect's easier? Is that why? And Hart's like, no, it's because he's more evenly matched. And then it was, you guys are both second generation. It was the my dad could beat up your dad, and it was entertaining.
I knew you were going to find a way to work Stu Hart into this at some point.
There's a way to work Stu Hart into anything if you try hard enough.
Could you say if you try hard enough? Anyways, moving on to the Yokozuna defeating Hulk Hogan. Now, Yokozuna...
Not yet. No, because this arguably might have been better than 91 SummerSlam. So we have to talk about Perfect versus Bret Hart. We have to talk about how good this match was.
And this is the match where I walked in, by the way. This is where I started watching today.
It was it almost went how long now?
Almost 20 minutes.
Almost 20 minutes. Yeah, almost 19 minutes.
They did say that there was a 20-minute time limit before the match started. That
they
were hinting at, like, hey, could go to another draw, guys.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if it did, I wouldn't have been surprised. But at the same time, I thought this was a classic.
Would that mean Bam Bam wins by default then?
Yeah. Yeah, more or less. If that were to happen.
Or Bam Bam could choose which one of the two, if, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably what would have happened. I mean, the thing that I liked about this match, aside from the fact that it was so back and forth, was by this time, because I mean, like, Perfect had come back to wrestling because he had to like take a year off because of injuries and stuff. That's why another reason why he dropped the belt to Hart, right? In 91, he had to get his back or neck or whatever operated on. And he wasn't as jacked. He was just starting to get back in the gym, but they turned him babyface, I think, a little bit before. Remember when he was Macho Man's partner, right? Because the Warrior had been fired or whatever, and at the Survivor Series 92, because it was supposed to be the Mega Maniacs against Flair and Ramon. Right. And then, anyway, so Perfect, even though he was a babyface, he was kind of teasing some heelish tactics from before.
Something I noticed about Perfect, and he wasn't doing something that he usually always does, is that when he came to the ring, he wasn't chewing gum.
No,
he was cutting his promo. He wasn't chewing gum.
No.
I associate that whenever you see Mr. Perfect not chewing gum, he's going to take an L.
You know what? I've never looked at it that way. I have to go back, but that's an interesting theory to ponder.
It's one of those things like when Ric Flair wears red.
Yeah.
You know he's going to lose.
Really?
I don't know if it's exactly the color red, but I think it is the color red because I think Miz was emulating it, like on today's current product. Whenever he lost, when he's on his mini losing streak, he was wearing the red trunks.
I mean,
that's a Flair thing.
I'm thinking back to some matches that Flair's had in red that he's lost. Maybe I'd have to look at that. That's an interesting thing to look at. No, this match was a classic. Again, arguably maybe better than the one for the IC strap in '91 at SummerSlam. I don't know, but
I would say so.
I don't know. I thought it was excellent. It was this match also good enough to be in the finals.
Absolutely.
It was, oh my God. Like if this maybe I would argue should have been the final, but then again, you could also argue the fact that this was a semifinal match goes to show you how deep the talent pool was.
Is this match of the night?
Yeah, 100%. There's no way it couldn't be.
Yes.
Right.
Nah, it was a classic. I mean, Hart didn't beat Perfect either with the sharpshooter in this match either. Like, but if you notice, Perfect being the heel, right, stomps on the fingers. When Hart went for the sharpshooter, what did he do? He grabs the fingers, snaps them. You know, it was perfect. It was hair pulling. Perfect was getting a little bit more dirty and kind of pulling some of the old heel tactics that he used to have when he was with Bobby Heenan. So I don't know.
And Bobby Heenan was making note of that on commentary.
Yeah,
too.
Bobby Heenan was funny. Oh, he's still relying on what I taught him, and he's nothing without me, and blah blah blah. And that was funny. Bobby Heenan was unbelievable on commentary. I mean, even in this.
And he was joined by, I believe, it was Jim Ross and the Macho.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great match. What else can be said about it? Just even if you don't watch the entire pay-per-view and you haven't watched it, and just watch this match. Incredible. Yeah. Now we can go to the title.
Now we can
match.
go to the Yokozuna match. No.
Not match of the night.
No,
Definitely not. I'd probably say, would it be wrong to call it the worst?
On this card for certain, either bottom or bottom two.
Now, if the outcome had been different, do you think it'd be higher on the card or higher on the list
not
or
for
not?
wrestling ability, anyways.
I think it would have been disappointing too because I mean you have Yokozuna who you're pushing as like the next.
The big foreign heel.
Yeah, that's it.
I put an emphasis on the word big because Mr. Fuji was talking about how he got Yokozuna back up and he's beefed up and he's heavier than he's ever been.
Yeah. You can tell if that's the case. And I mean, Yokozuna was a spectacle. He was like, whoa, look at this guy. And he had some agility.
Yeah.
Yoko had some agility for a guy who was 400 or 500 plus pounds. And Hogan was at the end, because he had come back in 93 for a little bit, and then he was kind of nearing the end of his run, his comeback.
He was tipping his hat to the Hulkamaniacs. Saying, hey, thanks for getting me over.
Well, that's it. And it was
Thanks for
almost
getting
like
me over. I'm going to go make $2 million in WCW now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know if he had filmed any movies in between, probably, but
was it Suburban Commando?
maybe around this.
Mr. Nanny, perhaps?
This was, I don't remember the years offhand because it was 93, but yeah.
Hulk Hogan movies because they're all frankly terrible. We know that we had No Holds Barred and
Thunder in Paradise was a good show, wasn't it? Come on.
I mean, the best thing that Hulk Hogan's ever done on television that wasn't wrestling was probably that one episode of Baywatch that he's in.
Yeah.
When everybody was that the WCW episode?
Yeah, that was when he was in
Vader
WCW.
and
Yeah.
Flair as well.
Yeah, and Kevin Sullivan, and yeah, that was funny.
No, Kevin Sullivan. What a guy.
But like, I mean, this match was meh.
And as we mentioned,
13 minutes.
the Harvey Whippleman.
Yeah.
Well, but before that too, Hulk Hogan is with, of course, Jimmy Hart, who had turned face. He had a really cool Hulk Hogan jacket. But yeah, the finish to this match, you just alluded to. Apparently, I thought I read somewhere that it was Harvey Whippleman who was dressed up as he had like a long beard and a hat.
Wig and some big beards on him.
Yeah, so he went up, and there were like a bunch of photographers at ringside, a bunch of like Japanese photographers, and Harvey Whippleman or whoever it was got on the apron, and wanted to take a picture of the Hulkster. But what happened?
His camera malfunctioned.
Yeah, it exploded.
Hogan was right there.
Fireball right in the face of Hogan.
It's almost like Jerry Lawler with that flash paper, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And then he fell over.
Wasn't the flash paper that was in the camera, maybe?
Well, probably. That's probably how it was done.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably that's how they did it. And then
it is Harvey Whippleman.
Yeah, there you go. Okay,
Yeah.
so he's pulling double duty today. That night. And then what was I gonna say? So yeah, and then so Hogan falls down, and Yoko didn't beat him with the bonsai drop. He dropped the big leg on him, which is kind of ironic, right?
Leg drop for a leg.
Yeah. And then he beats Hogan, which was like, oh my god, that just happened.
No, this is of course after that WrestleMania when Hogan won the belt from Yokozuna.
When Hogan cashed in Money in the Bank before it was Money in the Bank.
Yeah, the free Money in the Bank after Hart lost to
I'm
Yoko.
getting a title shot.
Yeah.
He cashed in his Vince
His Vince is my pal card.
Yeah. Get out of jail free card. Vince is my pal. What's the difference?
He politicked.
Yeah, you should be a politician.
I'm surprised he's never run for president. I think he would have won hands down just on the celebrity factor alone. But
well, speaking of presidents, in this next match, we have a guy who should never run for president. And I am referring, of course, to, well, it was an 8-man tag match, but I'm just going to narrow down and single out Scott Steiner right now.
Could you imagine those State of the Union addresses would be fucking terrible.
Well, what would happen if you send Scott Steiner to South Korea and North Korea instead of who we did send? Would he tell them that they say all men are created equal, but you look at him and Kim Jong-un?
You can see that statement is not true.
Does the term World War III mean anything to you? Because I don't think Scott Steiner would have had the diplomacy and the negotiation skills.
Well, he wrestled at World War III.
Scott Steiner doesn't give simpy.
That's
he wrestled at World War III.
Very funny.
Right, been there, done that.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I know we had an 8-man tag match that was full of everybody for no reason.
With Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster, as the interviewer with the promo leading up to this one, because he interviewed the Smoking Guns and the Steiner brothers in kind of a lame promo, and then so I mean this match was all right. It was just kind of a filler, to.
It was 8 guys in the ring going at each other.
Yeah, I
One
mean,
at a time.
nothing memorable. Heenan's commentary was funny, making fun of the Smoking Guns, basically calling them like rodeo clowns.
It is hard not to.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, it must have been tough wrestling in blue jeans.
We did get a little precursor to Rikishi with the head shrinkers.
Yeah, that was cool. What a mismatch team made Money Inc. and the head shrinkers. But Alpha was funny in this match.
You put a guy like IRS and you stand him next to somebody like Alpha, and you're just like, what are they doing?
Yeah. It was probably just like, we have these 8 guys. What are we gonna do with them?
Maybe Money Inc. hired them for the night.
That's probably the story going into it. Yeah.
We need 2 guys. Quick, find somebody. Head shakers or Alpha walks by.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean DB. So like, what happened? I mean DB as far as like the finish, because there's really nothing memorable aside from like Alpha like yelling at the camera kind of humorously, but DiBiase slaps the $1 Million Dream on Billy Gunn, and then he goes out and because he slapped it on, and then is it over? But then DiBiase let him go before like the ref could lift the arms to see if he was done or whatever. He just kind of let him go, and then
that's like the greatest heel move of all time.
Because
nothing.
Well, I might have been a good heel move because he went up to him and he starts like laughing and he's look at him, he's nothing, and then
he choked him out and it looked like he was gonna win. It's like, you know what? No, this match isn't over, fans.
Yeah, he's gonna play with him a bit, and then Billy Gunn just kind of came to and he gives him the small package
maybe that's the ultimate heel move, is that Ted DiBiase knew which match was next and he was just making the fans wait for it.
I wonder if Too Cold Scorpio got any inspiration from this here. There was a match that I was watching on an episode of ECW where it was Too Cold Scorpio. He asked actually to be announced. He asked the ring announcer to announce him as Too Gold Scorpio because at this point in time he was defending both the ECW World Television Championship and both ECW Tag Team Championship belts against Mikey Whipwreck.
Okay.
And he did this like 5-6 times.
Okay. Sorry. And this has to do with
Too Cold Scorpio inspiration. I don't know. I'm tired.
Inspiration from this?
Yes. False finishes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm like, sorry, I missed something. Yeah, okay.
False finishes.
I got
I'm talking false finishes. Like that's all. That's it.
Okay.
I was trying to put 2 head shrinkers together.
Now, so was he doing the typical like he's doing the cover and he lifts the guy's head up before the 3 kind of?
No,
thing,
he would get up and the ref would be like, "What the hell are you doing? You have him pinned. Just stay
there
for 3."
Yeah. Well, and that's what happened, right? So Billy Gunn kind of pins him for the 1, 2, 3 in the small package. As soon as the music hit.
Everybody rushes the ring.
Yeah, it was like a Pier 6 brawl. It was an 8-man tag going on at the same time. I mean, it was just like as soon as I didn't even think Finkel got his announcement done. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, Finkel's announcement was that it was an announcement.
Yeah. So
the winner. Everybody just goes.
The winner of this.
Yeah. And then after this, was it a Coliseum video exclusive with? Was it after this one where they had Terry Taylor interview Perfect about his loss, or was it after? It was after this.
After this match.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and Perfect was kind of, whatever. How do you think I feel about it?
And then after that Coliseum video, we cut to another Coliseum video to two dudes with attitudes. No, not them.
Yeah.
No, not them. Of course, we're talking about Shawn Michaels with Diesel.
As his bodyguard. Remember, he wasn't out there yet. He was just standing behind Shawn Michaels.
Not saying a word. Yeah.
Of course, defeating Crush. Marco, what do you think about this one here?
It was all right. I didn't think it was the worst match in the world. Crush got what he had to do in. I mean, he got his power moves in. He had Michaels reeling, but Michaels, of course, got some cheating in. Diesel was doing some illegal tactics, and what was I going to say? There was an appearance, of course, by Doink the Clown, because there was that little feud going on between Crush and Doink. There were two Doinks.
Right.
Crush was seeing double vision.
There's something wrong with my monitor here.
So, and then, of course, he gets distracted, and Michaels rolls him up. I thought it was a good match, though, for an IC strap match, because, I mean, Crush there were enough spots in the match where it looked like Crush was legitimately, he had a chance to beat Michaels. And for a big man, Crush was agile, very agile.
Did he ever hold the IC title?
Never.
Crush? No.
He wasn't allowed to hold anything.
I think he held the tag titles with Smash when he was the new member of Demolition.
He was with them.
Yeah. I don't know if he held the tag titles actually. Did he?
I think he was the third man out.
Oh yeah, they had the Freebird rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crush, Axe, and Smash or something.
Yeah, because they were phasing Axe out because there was some injury issues or something. But yeah, not the same. But that's about it. I don't think he held any gold. Even when he was the jailbird, when they brought him in, or he was in the DOA, I don't think he held any gold with, unless you count the Invasion when he was with Adam Bomb or Brian Clark when they were Chronic and they were the WCW Tag Champs. Because they never won the WWF tag. Oh, did they? WWF World Tag Team Champ. That's it with
Smash and Axe.
So they were doing the Freebird rule.
Yeah. So other than that, though, no. Just,
him and Brian Clark were
Chronic.
Yeah, they held it not only in WCW, they held it in all Japan as well.
If I'm seeing this correctly, they also had a match with the Brothers of Destruction. I'm going to go back and watch that when I get home.
Yep.
Unforgiven 2001. Worst worked match of the year. Wasn't that the pay-per-view that you sent me was Unforgiven 2001?
No, I'm pretty sure. It could be. If that's the one where Chris Jericho beats Rock and Stone Cold in the same night, which is the greatest pay-per-view of all time, changed my mind.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe fan?
Yeah.
The greatest pay-per-view of all time.
Yeah. If you know what, that might be an idea for another show.
Oh, I will
Unforgiven 01.
I will sit through that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're already at the main event. The finals for the King of the Ring. Who have we got?
We got Bret Hart and Bam Bam Bigelow.
A beat up, quote unquote, Bret Hart and fresh as a daisy, Bam Bam Bigelow.
Right. No, of course. Bret Hart would end up winning this match, but why don't we go through some of the
hijinks?
Yeah, I mean, in this 18-minute match, it was good. Bam Bam beating the hell out of Bret Hart for a lot of it because Bret Hart was, again, he was trying to do the typical, I'm facing somebody who's bigger and stronger. How am I going to use my speed and agility? Because I'm not going to out-muscle the guy, and I'm not 100%. His fingers were taped up. He was tired. He was limping to the ring. Bam Bam was dominant through a heck of a lot of it. Hart was trying. He got some moves in. Interesting part about it was we thought we were going to see Bam Bam beat Hart and win the King of the Ring, and because he had Hart laid out, goes up for his top rope headbutt, nails it. Ref counts 3. All of a sudden,
Bam Bam Bigelow is the 1993 King of the Ring.
Yeah,
except
so we thought
isn't.
Except because what happened, right? Who came out?
It was not Mad Dog. I was about to say Mad Dog. It was Luna Vachon came out as Bret Hart was sort of trying to collect himself outside the ring, and of course, Luna smacked Bret Hart in the side of the. I think it was it his back.
Yeah, it was a chair shot.
It was a chair shot to the back.
She went soft on him, but for the purposes of this, we can say ow. And she rearranged his spinal column with that chair shot.
Getting hit by Luna is getting hit by Luna.
Yeah, I'm sure it would have been for real. She probably could have, from what I hear, she probably could have taken down some of the dudes, and maybe she did. But
she didn't take down Bret tonight.
No, not entirely. Because, what happened was the ref counted 3, and then all of a sudden another ref comes out, and they're arguing back and forth. And, no, I saw there was interference and whatever. And Fink makes his announcement, they reversed the decision. They're, no, we're going to keep the match going.
Hold on, let me check
Yeah.
my sources. Oh, nope, the match continues.
Yeah, and it was a nice little back and forth,
So
and you know.
everybody thinking that they could leave the stadium early? No, bad news, boys.
Yeah, could you imagine? We were saying that off air earlier. Like, could you imagine if someone thought, "Oh crap, Bam Bam won. I want Hurt to win," and they left,
Yeah,
not knowing what the
they
result
left
would
home to
be.
beat the traffic,
Yeah.
and meanwhile, the match is still going on.
Yeah.
On the highway. Oh, where is it?
That's right. So I mean, you know, and Bam Bam was still beating up Bret Hart, and then all of a sudden, well.
Bret Hart does what he does best.
Bret Hart does what he does best, and he weaseled his way out of not like a Bobby Heenan weasel, but like he kind of weaseled his way into a win with a crafty little roll up. Funny, I mean, and he became the 1993 King of the Ring. Funny thing about this whole thing was not one King of the Ring match. Bret Hart didn't use the sharpshooter once to finish anybody off. I found that interesting. It was all pinfalls.
Well, it's probably Bret Hart also trying to show everybody, hey, I'm more than just a sharpshooter.
Yeah, that's why he was one of the best.
Exactly.
Now after Bret Hart was given the crown, the scepter, and the cape.
Yeah, after his coronation.
After that's what that. I was trying to figure out what that word was. Thank you. There was another king that made an appearance.
That's right.
Greatest king of all time.
That's right. The King of Memphis, and we ain't talking about Elvis Presley.
We're talking about Jerry.
Jerry,
Our
the
old pal
King
Jerry
of Lawler.
Lawler, the puppy lover himself, came out and had some choice words for Bret Hart, saying that he's the fake king and Jerry is the real king.
It's like, oh, if out of the goodness of my heart, maybe I'll make you a prince, but you're not the real king, blah blah blah, and
The fake king versus king match.
Yeah, I want you to kiss my royal feet. I mean, this was a good lead up to SummerSlam.
He put the boots on Bret and he made him kiss his feet.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it wasn't really well.
It was more of a kick to the mouth, but
Yeah, and he choked him with the scepter and hit him, and he smashed the crown,
he
and
threw the chair at him, like the big chair.
yeah, the big throne.
He was doing
Yeah,
that
the
before
throne.
Braun was doing it in Rome.
That's right.
What is it with the big chair shots, man?
You got to get him in.
It's almost as overused as those table spots.
Yep.
These days. It's like
Those
every day you
table
watch,
spots.
someone's going through a table. But no, I thought it was a good lead up, right? Oh, I'm the real king, and then Hart got the chant of Burger King going. You're not the real king. Where were you? You know, leading
You're
up to
the
this. And,
Burger
yeah, you're the
King.
Burger King, and then that's what triggered Lawler to beat him up. So I thought it was a good little lead up because it's like, oh my God, the person just won King of the Ring. I mean, it's not like it destroyed Hart or anything. If anything, like I said, it led up to their match at SummerSlam a couple months later. So I don't know. Overall, I liked the pay-per-view. I really enjoyed it a lot. It's a shame the buy rates weren't very good, but this was also a down period.
It was 93.
If this
Yeah.
pay-per-view happens in 2018, does it do better?
With the same card?
More or less.
Wow.
Like assuming the stars.
We're gonna say that Bret Hart is the age of Bret Hart 93, but it's 2018.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
Okay, then I don't know if the buy rate would be higher
No.
because wrestling's in a down spiral right now.
Absolutely it is.
And it's not as popular as it once was, and I don't even think it's as popular as it was.
Well,
in 93.
wrestling in general, I wouldn't say that it's not as popular now.
WWE isn't. I don't see how
No.
it could be unless they're doing like some cross marketing with other. But even then, I mean, if we're talking about even like popularity, like with the Japanese or Indies, it's still not. It's not.
It wouldn't be as successful.
Yeah, it's still not as. Not really. No.
Yeah,
No.
like they would recognize the star power on this card, but I
Yeah.
don't know if it would draw everybody up to buy it.
It wouldn't. I absolutely would not. I don't even know if you would have like more people buying into the network, and Although, you know what? If you were to do, because remember when they brought it back once and there was a King Barrett, Neville made it all the way to the finals, and Barrett.
Well, they
won?
they brought it back a couple times actually because there was King Sheamus too the year before or a couple years before. I think.
Right, but it wasn't like a consistent.
There
And
was
then
King Neville too.
no,
King,
it was
that's,
King Barrett.
that's King of the Cruiserweights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he was.
That's
the
that's
king.
not the same thing.
If you're bringing it back now, let's say they brought it back this like let's say they next pay per view King of the Ring with the. I mean, you'd have to factor in I guess the roster split. Well, who would be your 8 guys?
8 guys for King of the Ring.
Yeah.
You can go first,
Today's
Skuce.
roster. I get to go first.
Yeah, man.
Match number 1, I'm putting Dolph Ziggler against Drew McIntyre.
Yes.
Right away.
Are they not a tag team right now, or would you do that on
Exactly why I'm
purpose?
putting them
Perfect.
In the match right away.
Right.
Or would you have them both go all the way to the finals and then face each other?
No,
because
I would have them in the first match because, and I would have Dolph be the bigger man and lay down to Drew.
Okay.
I'm going to try to write this down so I don't book myself into a corner like I've done in the past. But so first match, I'm going to put Drew versus Dolph.
Mm-hmm.
Second match, I'm putting Seth Rollins against the SmackDown talent in Rusev because everybody's hyped for one of those guys to win.
Yeah.
It's round one.
Yeah.
You want to get the people watching the first round and not skip to the final.
Yeah.
You got to have the heat of the match going on. I don't know who's going to win, but I will put Seth versus Rusev. My third, I'm going to have to say Samoa Joe versus Randy Orton because Randy Orton probably deserves to be in it. Now, I'd probably have Joe go over, but Orton's a big name.
Yeah.
Bringing some big names.
Clean win?
Over Orton?
Yeah.
Joe? Yeah, he'd run him over.
Okay, but competitive match, but Orton, there's not enough steam.
Match, maybe a couple RKO kickouts. Maybe just two.
Would you have him submit, or would it be a pinfall with the muscle
Joe
buster?
Would choke him out.
Okay.
Coquina,
Okay, go ahead.
And I'd have to say in the last match, I'm going to throw a curveball here because that's what I do best. And everybody needs that one match where everybody knows who's going to win.
Okay.
So I'd probably put Elias versus Heath Slater.
Really?
So you could have Elias with a defining win. So that whenever he goes on to the next round, nobody knows what's going on. But everybody likes to think they know that one thing, and that's the one thing that everybody knows Elias moves on.
You wouldn't have Braun Strowman in the King of the Ring? Then have him like... Or would you have him like lose in the quarters of the semis?
I wouldn't put Braun Strowman in it because if you put Braun Strowman in it and he's not winning, it's a waste of Braun Strowman. Because you have this big guy and his position is to run people over, and as soon as he stops running people over, that's when you kind of get scared. Unless
you have like a dirty finish, which could lead to another angle.
There
and then,
have been dirty finishes with Braun Strowman, but no, I'm out of left field. That's my 8. I think I did 8.
Yeah, so one Raw, one SmackDown, so you inevitably have the Raw versus SmackDown final. And then who would you have go over? Someone from Raw or someone from SmackDown?
I think I would have someone from SmackDown go over because I think they just have the most talent. But it would be a Raw versus SmackDown final. I would love to see Drew McIntyre versus Samoa Joe for the King of the Ring.
Yeah, man.
Give me that card all day, day. Yes.
If that card was announced, would you start watching WWE again, Mark?
I would at least watch that pay-per-view. Yeah,
pay-per-view and just see what happens.
As long as they don't do like what they've done in like later years, where they're like, we're gonna put like the quarters and the semis on Raw or something, and then we're in the finals. Whole pay-per-view should be the tournament.
The way I'm thinking about it is the way that they did it the last time, where they had this out of nowhere this show on this random day of the week, where it was the Raw and the SmackDown guys got together. Yeah. Well, I don't think they had split cards at the time.
No, I think that they had it merged again at the time. But you know what you mean.
It was a show like maybe on like a Thursday night or something.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And
network special.
A network special, and you'd have your quarterfinal matches, and then the King of the Ring. You can have a couple matches from Raw and SmackDown, and your semis and your finals.
What you could do, like your qualifying matches, like they did in the old school era, right on your main shows, and then you can just have your tournament on the special would be great. You do a 2 or a 3 hour special and have it in like some location that I don't know. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the States or Canada. Could be somewhere else. I don't know if you want to go left field.
If I had to choose this, I would actually do it at the Royal Albert Hall.
There you go. Yes. Yes.
If I got to pick that too, I'd pick the Royal Albert Hall. A nice hot UK crowd for that Drew Joe finish.
Would you bring back the Battle Royal for the Sands of Art? No, you couldn't, because then if you're going to announce a King of the Ring and you had the Royal Samovar trophy, it would dilute it.
But I like where you're going, and I'm going to pop something on you. I would have a 20-man Royal Rumble Battle Royal. It would be either or.
Okay.
Or that belt that we never saw, the King of the Ring title belt.
Yeah, create one if you can.
No, there is one. I've seen pictures of Mabel with it.
I heard that he got it custom made because they never had it.
It was never on television. I know.
Yeah, because
it was a cool looking belt.
It was beautiful, and like I said, if they can't get it from Mabel's wife, then make your own. They have the money for it.
It's not like it's impossible to do because we just saw Braun Strowman had that greatest Royal Rumble trophy and a belt, and that belt just faded away.
Now, the winner of the King of the Ring, would you have a condition where the King of the Ring gets an automatic #1 contender title shot?
No, but I would book him like that.
Okay.
Like I would have him as like, hey, I'm the king, I'm on top, and then later on, be like, since I'm the king and I'm on top, I'm taking your title.
Gotcha.
Or you could also have it so that this might sound kind of shitty. Could have have the King of the Ring in December, and then have the Royal Rumble in January. The King of the Ring goes up against the winner of the Royal Rumble. You've got you got the clash of royalty here.
Okay.
Have a match somewhere down the line before Mania. Whoever, like, you have the King of the Ring face off against the winner of the Rumble, and whoever wins that match gets a title shot at Mania.
No, because whoever wins that match gets screwed by whoever's holding Money in the Bank.
Well, yeah.
But no, I understand.
Assuming, of course, this is assuming that the Money in the Bank contract holder still has it.
It's not a bad concept.
Yeah.
I will say
I like that idea.
Have, like, hey, instead of having a guaranteed number one contender, we're going to have 2 half contenders and see who the number one contender is.
Yeah, I like it. Well, plus, you know, with however short-sighted the booking seems to be these days, that might be good for getting some mileage out of it.
And that way would be interesting, too, because if you want to do it like the Royal Rumble, you could tease it. So I said Samoa Joe would be King of the Ring. Oh, sorry, spoilers. I would have Joe go over.
Really?
Just so you could have King Joe.
What if?
Yeah.
Because Drew, with a cape and a crown, would look pretty badass, in my opinion. Joe would look ridiculous. But Joe would kill you if you laughed at him. And that's why I'm saying Joe's King of the Ring.
One I don't know, but maybe one little critique or objection to that idea, though, is would you have a stipulation where if you win King of the Ring, you can't be in the Rumble, or would you have them go in and do both?
You wouldn't be in the Rumble.
I would say that they can't be in the Rumble, but I would have them on the Rumble card in a singles match versus somebody else. As like a middle feud.
Because I was gonna say, like, remember when Piper beat the Mountie for the IC strap and then he wrestled remember when they had the world title up for grabs in '92 when Flair won? Well, theoretically Piper could have had both belts, right? So so you don't do something like that. I got you. Yeah,
like, if somebody's like, hey, why don't you do this? I'd be like, oh, and freeze up because that's the end game, but I don't want to do it right away because you want to save that.
Yeah, another thing too, I just thought of too with that idea is you can always have the King of the Ring screw over somebody so he gets to face who he would like, especially in the Rumble. Yeah, so like a Samoa Joe goes and he gets somebody eliminated or he eliminates somebody or whatever, and that way he faces somebody that he prefers, who thinks he's going to be easier. Yeah, no, that'd be, man, we should be booking right now. This would be that, man. That was fun.
This should turn into whenever the three of us get together, it should be a fantasy booking podcast.
Oh my God, yeah, for sure.
I'm down.
You know I'm in. I fantasy book all day.
Oh, we all do. How are you not? Like, I haven't watched in an episode, like a full episode of wrestling in
that'd
a while,
work. That'd be awesome then, because you could, if you had some backstory on what was going on, actually, you could rewrite it and make it like you would want to watch it.
Well, that's the thing. I find that they're missing that today. Unless there's been some resurgence during me not watching it, but they don't seem to have too many.
Slight resurgence.
When did you stop watching again? Regularly,
2014 or 15, I would say.
Yeah, the Roman era.
Yeah, the Roman era is really what solidified. Like, I stopped watching for a bit, but when Punk was on top, I was like, okay, but then
Yeah, I had a little break. It wasn't on purpose that I stopped watching wrestling, but I missed most of that stuff, and I had to go back and watch it. I stopped after the first cancellation of WWECW.
Yep.
With the last WrestleMania I watched before I got into wrestling again was the Trump, the McMahon Battle of the Billionaires.
Oh, that was silly.
Yeah. I stopped watching wrestling.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a choice. It was just, I just stopped.
Yeah.
Something else took over, came up.
Yeah.
And then I got back into it about the fall of CM Punk as he was on his way out.
Yep.
And I don't know how I've stayed in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's this fantasy booking in my head.
I find it frustrates me more because I'd like to think that when you fantasy book, you don't want it to be too unrealistic. You want to make it seem like it's within the confines of what they have too, but you also want to make it so it makes things better. And and you want to make it better, but then when they don't do it, you get so frustrated. You're like, no, this would have been better. It's common sense. What are you doing? And then,
oh man, I was freaking out this year because I'm like, watch, they're gonna call it Balor in the Bank. It's gonna be Balor in the Bank. It's gonna be Balor Monster in the Bank. What?
The odd time that they do go with the idea, oh my God, they're listening, and it happens all the time.
Yeah. I remember this one time when I was fucking 12 or something, and it was just when Sheamus and Christian were a tag team. And then Michael Cole goes, "Hey guys, tweet us your names for what you think they should be called. My 12-year-old ass decides, Celtic charisma, you know, because Celtic Warrior, Captain Charisma, fuck it. First tweet that he reads out, I marked out heavy. He goes Celtic Charisma from I can't remember what the fuck my Twitter handle was when I was 12. But
love it.
Yeah,
love it. I like both of those guys actually. I think Cesaro and Sheamus are fun together. Cesaro's great.
Yeah, man.
That's actually, you know what? If I were to tweak, I like your King of the Ring brackets, but if I were to make one substitution, I'd have Cesaro in the King of the Ring. I think a King Cesaro would be fantastic, or even just going somewhere like into at least the semis.
That's the problem, because when I fantasy book, Cesaro has gold.
There you go. That's perfect.
U.S. champ Cesaro.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just drilled into the back of my mind.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even thinking about putting him in there. Which
that's fair.
King Cesaro is good, and you could have him like Superman too.
Now, would you go with like a full-on English style king, or would you go sort of like a Julius Cesaro kind of thing,
like an emperor?
Julius Cesaro. Cesaro salad.
Yeah,
Cesaro.
It's a good question. Yeah, I would do like a regular
style.
monarchy, like a English or Spanish or Dutch monarchy
That'd
type
be a good
deal. Yeah,
move too, because he won King of the Ring. He's like, I'm not the king, I'm the emperor or something like that.
That's true. You know, although it's ironic because if you had a King Cesaro, I mean Switzerland. If you were to tell the average Swiss person about monarchy, they'd probably look at you like you had 7 heads.
Nuts.
Yeah, but. We'll try and keep politics out of this as much as we can, I guess. But wrestling with political ideas, could you imagine? No, that would be no. I think a King Cesaro would be really good, but no, I don't know. I just do like the regular crown and scepter, but the Emperor idea I can see. I almost feel like the Emperor thing. Remember when they did that in '93 when Yokozuna won the Royal Rumble? And they had Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, people portraying them as like, oh, you've won. You could do that with the Royal Rumble when it might be a little bit hokey.
And then they brought it to WrestleMania 9 at the Caesar's Palace.
Yes.
And you had Howard Finkel as Finkus Max.
They were all dressed up as you're right.
So, I can't remember what year it was.
Bobby Heenan
hokey Bill hit Bill Clinton. Remember that fake Bill Clinton?
That was the Survivor Series 93.
They've done hokey stuff like that. Hey, maybe if a U.S. person wins it, a person from the United States, they could be the president of the ring.
Oh, that would be a funny little. That'd be a good way to bring Barrett back.
Owens went back to his American gimmick.
Yeah.
And he was the president of the ring, and he wasn't even from the States.
To heck with your royalty. Yeah, that would be interesting. That'd be a good way for Jerry Lawler to maybe get someone over, manage somebody. He can do it.
Kevin.
Yeah, that would be. Damn, we should next show. We're just coming straight fantasy booking.
Sounds good. So we need to come up with a name for it then. The three of us.
Wrestling with it. No.
That does sound like the name of a fantasy booking show.
Don't worry, guys. I got it.
What do you
called Hitting the Books with Rossi, Skuce, and Scully.
There you go. Hitting
You're
the
booking
books.
it, pal.
That's right. We're bookers. We're not writers. Damn it. Anyway, that's my summation is out of 10, I give this pay-per-view a 9.
Ooh.
Yeah.
1993 King of the Ring. Just so we're not thinking about this King of the Ring that hasn't even happened or will ever happen. 1993 King of the Ring gets a 9 from Marco. Scully, what do you say?
I'll go with a 9 as well.
I don't want to be controversial with my 8.5, so I will change it to 9. But I was originally thinking 8.5.
How come you were thinking 8.5?
I was thinking 8.5 just because of the Duggan match.
Because of the Duggan match. See,
the
for
Duggan
me,
match and the 8-man tag match were kind of the stinkers and drew it down a little bit.
Okay.
Not to say that it wasn't a great pay-per-view.
Okay, for me, it was the perfect Hughes one that kind of stunk up the joint.
Yeah, I was never a big Mr. Hughes fan. He's kind of the precursor to Ahmed Johnson, if you think about it. Arguably.
Ahmed Johnson had more agility. he just couldn't.
Which is saying something for Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah. I don't know if they're comparable. To me, Mr. Hughes, I don't know. I was gonna say Big Bubba, but again, Big Boss Man was really agile, especially when he leaned out a bit. I don't know who he's comparable to right now, but anyway, yeah. Okay, 8.5 or 9. I can deal with that. Yeah, for sure.
And
so 9's all around.
Yeah.
It's not like we're pulling who was it? they would have his wife put up the 10.
You mean Ty Dillinger?
No. In WCW, there was the thing with Johnny B. Bad and this guy and his wife. Like they had the match for her. Kimberly, it was DDP.
Yeah, it was because she was also the
The
Diamond
Diamond
Doll,
Doll.
and she was also Johnny B. Bad's valet.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that Dave Sullivan. If he beats the guy with the rabbit there, If he beats DDP, he gets a date with Kimberly, and he did.
Yeah.
That was great. Good times. WCW. Yeah. But to not end it on a WCW note, King of the Ring, they need to bring it back, and that's why I chose this. It would be a great summer pay-per-view. I don't think it would dilute from SummerSlam at all. You can help build for SummerSlam, as Hart and Lawler showed.
And then at SummerSlam, you have the king of the wrestling company.
Right.
And if that's not a factor that drills in a crowd, or a small crowd anyways. It's like, hey, the king of WWE is going to be there.
Bingo. That's it.
Right. And with that, we bring an end to, well, it's not even Wrestling with Old School Ideas anymore. This is the debut episode now of Hitting the Books with Rossi, Skuce, and Scully. Thank you guys for listening. And you will be listening on when Wrestling with Ideas moves from Podbean to Anchor FM. This is the debut episode of Wrestling with Ideas on Anchor FM. Thank you guys for listening. As always, have a good one. Stop recording, damn it.